system works. You can walk up to your professor and say, this is something that is not working for me. And there's nothing like impromptu tests. There are a lot of practical, like built into the system.
That will expose you to what you really need to know.
Exactly, to ensure that you know it. Although at first, I didn't build community. But eventually, I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, my eye is already red. Once you come, just attend the International Student Orientation, because that's the way you can meet people before school starts. In school, there are also something that they call care packages. They will never tell you this, because they don't want you to like
to come and rush.
So if you ever get stuck, you can talk to anybody and they will direct you to like the care packages.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another episode in the Study in the US series. So today we'll be talking about the educational system, what it is like, and being in a community, the standard of living, the social life, and everything. So just sit tight and watch out.
I even studied education for my sake.
Okay, so I think something that I would say is that in the US, like the system works. What I mean by the system work is that if you are hardworking, you will get the results. If you are not hardworking, you won't get the results. But you know, when I was in Nigeria, I used to think, oh, when you just come to the US, you just write the exam and you pass. It's easy. Is this? However, if you are hardworking, but you know, in Nigeria, if you're hardworking, you're still not getting results, because there's one
sometimes
cost that is saying nobody can get A in my class. It is easy and not easy to get A here. What I mean by it is easy is if you put in the work, like total work, very, very hard work, you get your A. If you deserve the A, you get the A. But to get the A is very stressful, because A starts from 92. And some places, and some places there's A plus, there's A minus, there's whatever. So you also need to like be very careful of that. Like A minus is already dropping your grade down. And it's like 90, I think 90 is even A minus in the US, and it's dropping your grade down. So but if you're able to put
I thought Italy was like very high. I think US is higher, because Italy is also 90 to get A. Yeah.
So that's the way it is. Like the system works. Your professors, you can walk up to your professor and say, this is something that is not working for me. If a professor did something bad to you, you can report them. Because literally you are the one paying. Yeah, you can report. It's not like Nigeria that reported somebody and they are ganging up against you. In this place, like there's even a system that you can report professors anonymously.
So I think I've heard of that too.
So that way, they're always in check and they are always very careful. There was even one time that I was even the one that helped somebody report a professor, because outrightly it was like racism, and I'm like, no, this is a bad thing.
This is not meant to be.
Yeah, this is not meant to be. And eventually, the professor like wrote to the person, because I reported to the dean of students and I reported to like the chair of like the institution, and the professor like had to call her and apologize to the person that okay, I'm very sorry, I didn't mean it this way. So it keeps them on their toes when you know that okay, there's an evaluation and the evaluation system is working. However, I think something that I would just call the disadvantage is you don't have friends. You know, you see people in class thinking, oh, they are your friends, but they are just your classmates. And I think, and I'm not going to say this is like a bad thing. I think it's just something that we as Nigerians, we are used to doing things in doing things together. But like here, they are used to doing things individually. I'm telling you, if you ask somebody for their assignment, they might tell you that it's cheating. Like, okay, maybe, you know how you can just look at somebody's assignment and say, okay, this is how you've done it. I can do this as well. If you ask somebody, they might say, oh, no, you're cheating. Do you want to cheat? Do you want to think about it yourself? Yeah, like it's just like individualism. You need to like figure it out yourself. So yeah, I think that I'm not going to call it a bad thing. I'm just going to say like it's like in
being independent.
Yeah, being independent, and I'm like, dang, like so yeah, I think that's something that I would say maybe is like a disadvantage, but like every other thing, like the system works. And there's also a lot of assignment. I'm not even going to lie. Like the difference between US and Nigeria is US focuses on you knowing. Nigeria focuses on who can do it better. But US is like, they're not focusing on grade, but they're focusing on do you know it? But Nigeria is like grade. Grade is the umbrella of you know it. Exactly. So
yeah, that's quite interesting. And I think, well, can you like expatiate on that? Because you also mentioned that for you to get an A is like 92, but they also focus on you knowing like what is the minimum grade that you're meant to have before they will say, okay, you have failed.
So what I mean by you knowing is all through my master's, I didn't do any exam. Everything was assigned. Yeah. Everything was like I didn't sit.
Oh, yeah. But
so that's what I'm saying.
That's like, surprising for US.
Yeah. And sometimes even like undergraduate students with their exam is even open book.
Eh?
Yeah. I've had exams.
Like you can browse and
yeah. And there are some exams that are not open book, but there are some exams that are open book. So that is what I mean by you knowing. The emphasis is not on, of course, I know some people are like concerned about their grade, which is fine, because for you to do something, so your grade
exactly.
No, there are a lot of assignments built into the system. There are a lot of practical like built into the system
that will expose you to what you really need to know.
Exactly, to ensure that you know it. Whereas in Nigeria, I can count the number of assignments I did when I was an undergraduate student. It was not up to 20. I'm not even kidding. My own 4 years, it was not up to 20, because everything was just like midterm. You read it. We used to say something, you then so like like, do you get like just cramming things, cramming knowledge? And I literally don't even remember some things that I learned in school. So that's what I mean by like the emphasis is on knowing and not necessarily just just
to get the grades. Yeah.
Although I know there are some courses that you still need to cram for you to, but like the class is possible, because like after every class they're giving you reflection. What did you learn in class today? I'm like, okay, like you need to think deeply. And some people even tell you that don't give me on the surface reflection. Like I want you to reflect. And when I came here, I had reflection. Me that I've never reflected in my life before. I was like, I struggled at first with it, because I'm like, what am I reflecting on? Every week reflection. What am I thinking about? But at the end of the day, like I kind of like, so okay, this is how the education system is. You just need to like adapt. And I think something else that I forgot to say about the disadvantage of the US is there's no rest. The first day of class, there's class. It's not like Nigeria that the first day there's perambulating.
The lecturer might not come.
Not like that. The first day of class, there's class. The first day of class, there's assignment already. And there's nothing like lecture free week. We are from class, maybe we just finished class on Friday. On Monday, final week is starting. Exam is starting. So sometimes I just kind of like wonder, how are people able to like kind of like rest and like read? So it's kind of like keeping people on their toes. And there's nothing like impromptu test. That's something that, but in Nigeria, I just say impromptu test, but no, there's nothing like that.
Just this one, you are aware.
The lecturer might tell you on Monday that there's midterm on Friday. So, and the expectation of the lecturer is that you should already understand all the concepts that you've been learning from up until maybe week 2 that you do your whatever assessment you want to do. So I think that could also like be considered as a disadvantage, because there's no rest, and you're also expected to be involved on campus. Because with the US, like particularly if you're applying to graduate school, it's not just about your academic whatever. It's also like how involved were you on campus, and were you able to like balance your involvement on campus with your academics? So that's something that they also want to see, that how is your time management skills? So
wow, this is a lot really, and it's quite interesting. Okay, I want to ask about the examination. For example, in Italy, and I think it's just Italy, I'm not sure about other European countries, you get to write your exams like multiple times. For example, maybe the first call of the examination could be maybe like December, and if you think that, oh, I wrote this exam, I don't like my score, you reject it within 8 days, then you have like 2 or 3 more calls to write the exam. Even it can even extend to your second year or your third year, and it doesn't affect like your cumulative, like your average. Or like Nigeria, when you fail an exam, automatic the F now has brought the grade down, and you will still rewrite that exam. So how does it work in the US?
I don't really know much about exams, because like I said, I didn't write.
Okay, you said you didn't.
However, I know like I was talking to like an undergraduate student that kind of like told me how the exam is. So it depends on the professor, but there's nothing like you got one score and you don't want it. If you got a score and you don't, even with our assignments, you can go and talk to the professor that, okay, why did I get this? Because there was one time that they did one exam, there was massive failure in the class. So with that, people can, how in Nigeria, there's massive failure. They are just like, I don't care. This one, because there's a way they are sitting on this course. This one is not possible that everybody in the class is not knowledgeable.
And feel, So
if there's a massive failure, it is a blow to you, because what that means is that people in class do not understand that concept, and it's a blow on your face that they do not understand that concept, because you should be able to teach them in a way that they understand. So in instances like that, there's something that I've forgotten the term that they said. So they kind of like increase their score. I know I taught a class one time like that too, that was like, why are these students failing? So I gave all of them 10 mark all across the board, just to bring them. So they do that as well. And they also do some classes too. They do like multiple assignments, multiple quiz. That's why, like my friend, second week of the semester, she's already saying, I have quiz on Monday. I'm like, second week, why are you always having quiz? So there are some classes like that you do multiple quiz, and the one that is like the lowest, the professor will drop the grade for you.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so there are some like that they are just like, we are not dropping any grade. Whatever it is you do, that is what I think they mostly do that for undergraduate students, but for like graduate students, they are like, you need to catch up. There's nothing like we are dropping grade because you
need to.
System. So sometimes they are kind of like lenient towards undergraduate students, but like graduate students, like this is not the time to be doing like you are a professional already. You've gone through like college and everything, so you need to catch up. But I know like there are systems in place, and if you are not satisfied with your score, there was even a friend of mine that got 14/15 that went to go and meet professor that, hey, I cannot get
14/15.
Yes, because that one mark is very important. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like, that's true.
I understood the first assignments I did. I think I got like, is it 13/15? I was crying. I was like, Jesus, have mercy on me. Like, you needed to see the way I was now on my toes because I thought I wanted to redo the assignment. So I redid the assignments. Then I got 14. I was still like, hey, because when you redraw assignments, they tell you that it's not over. Like, they will still deduct grade for you redoing the assignment. So eventually she was like, okay, this is good. But like I said, I was going to deduct grade. So I deducted 0.5 and the 0.5 because it's not perfect. Because that woman, she's out to satisfy. She even said it in class that for her to give you a perfect score, you need to like be extraordinary. So like because you are counting like 93 is where A stops. So you are counting, okay, I've missed 1 mark in this class. I've missed 2 marks in this class. Okay, you are kind of like, so that 1 mark is very important. So she went to go and meet the lady. And she explained to the lady. The lady was like, because she didn't put head page, she was like, okay, don't worry, I will do the head page. And eventually she got 14.5. So I was like, okay, what's the 0.5? She said that 0.5 is very important to her. So I was able to like, because you don't know, maybe she's on 90 and they won't convert. You don't know, maybe she's on 90.5 like that. And she needed that 0.5 to like, move up and all. So yeah.
Wow. Oh good. Wow. So it's quite interesting, but as you guys are watching, I'm sure you're picking value from this. And I also heard from someone just like chip it in, since you say you don't know much about exams. I also think like the exams like are usually compressed into 1 week. They're about like the final exams. Yeah, like you have to write all the exams at once.
Yeah, that's something that I said, like it's not like the best of the best because there's is the way you have the classes. Okay, so for instance, for undergraduate students, they typically have like classes like every day. But for graduate students, you have class and you just have it like once. For like my instance, my classes were 3 hours. So that means it's units. If it's like 2 hours, it's 2 credits. If it's 4 hours, it's 4 credits. But undergraduate students, they break it down into like 1 hour. So if you have maths on Monday, math on Tuesday, math on Wednesday, your professor can say, okay, Wednesday is where we are having the final week. Another professor too can come and say Wednesday is where we are having your final week. Sometimes they may have to final in a week, unlike Nigeria that we use a whole month to write exam.
Yeah.
That's it. And the way they are also finishing the final, they are also expected, if they are on campus, they are also expected to leave that day. Final week is Monday to Friday. That Friday, you are not expected to be in the dorm at all. You are supposed to leave. So I'm just like, how do you want to talk? So do you get? So I'm just like, okay, maybe we should appreciate what we also have in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's where it is.
It's a lot.
You know that sometimes I look at this undergraduate student and I'm like, thank God I didn't do undergraduate here. Because I'm unable to like, and I get that is why when they are in grad school, they are like organized. Some of my classmates, you see their planner organized, and I'm like, okay, I'm still struggling with organization because their undergraduate days has taught them a lot of things. You are involved in this, and I'm like, okay, what time do you people used to sit down and study? And when you see them at night, if they are partying at night, you will never say these are the serious people because these people today have.
That's one thing I still find to understand, even like studying abroad. They travel a lot, they're involved in so many things and they still come out with good grades. I wonder how they do it.
Because me in school, like, once is that exam week, that whole month of exam, I'm telling you, like even if I don't have paper anytime, I feel like if I watch everything I've read, I will forget it. So I don't even watch. I don't do anything. Not like they are having an exam, they will still go out and party, and they will still go. I was like, okay, how do you people actually manage your time? So I think when it comes to time management, just give it to abroad people because sometimes I'm just like And also it's different because in Nigeria, how you stick to your own course. I don't know about other schools, but the university I graduated from is a liberal arts college. So what that means is undergraduate students are taking course everywhere. There's nothing like, oh, I'm studying theater art, I'm not going to take mathematics. Is a lie. You take mathematics. There's nothing like
in the US.
In the US, in the course that I particularly in liberal arts schools. There's nothing like I'm studying theater art, I won't take chemistry. You have to take a lab. So the way it is, you have to take a mathematics course, you have to take an English course overall, like everybody in school. So domestic students have a different English course, international students have a different English course. You have to take a science course, you have to take an art course. So you have to be, that's liberal art. You have to be
all-rounder. Yeah.
You have to take a lab course. So whether you're in theater art, you still need to look for a lab course that is in science. And I'm like, okay,
I think it's a good one in a way.
It's a good one, but what is happening to my GPA?
It's a good one, but because sometimes somebody might want to like cross over, maybe you want to do one internship and you just point it out that in your transcripts you had this. Imagine when I was in even science in Nigeria, secondary school, and science is science. You can't expect the science students to be doing literature or government. It did not happen.
So they like, you see somebody that is like studying neuroscience, taking like a course in theater art, and they will be telling me, oh, I enjoy theater. I'm already kind of thinking about, I even had somebody that switched from like neuroscience to like theater art, because person was like, when they took the class, they found out that they had passion for it, so they had to drop it.
It's a good one then, I guess. But I don't know if it works for international students coming over to study.
Yeah. But that's only for undergraduate students. But once you're a graduate student, it's just like stick to where
you have to. They believe by then you should have found what interests you.
Yeah, so it's just like stick to what.
Yeah, that's a lot of things to like put in within a short time. Okay, and that's that about the educational system. I'll be asking next about the standard of living, student life, accommodation, food, all of those things relating with people, communities, there's a lot, but if you can just like summarize.
Okay, so when it comes to like community, something that I tell people is like, once you come, just attend the international student orientation, because that's the way you can meet people before school starts. Because the way it is in the US, there's orientation for domestic students, there's orientation for international students. So when they say international student orientation, attend, because that's the way you can get to meet people and build community. Particularly like, there's no like wherever you are coming from, there's not like a population like that in your country. Your school, for instance, in my own school, like I was lucky that we had like Nigerians in the school, so we kind of like had our own group and all, and I was able to like build community with them. Although at first I didn't build community, but eventually I'm like, I was like, hey, my eyes are already red. It's time to go to my own people. So like I kind of like built community, and I was like, okay, that kind of like helped me to like be more welcome. And I know there's something that the international office too used to do. Like if you're struggling with finding somebody that is from your country, you can let the international students know, because they have data of everybody, and they will tell you, okay, we'll connect you with somebody that is like from your country. Because I know there was a time they sent me email about somebody that is in Nigeria that is willing to like meet somebody, and they were like, okay, should we set up a meeting for the both of you and all? So that's something that the international students do as well. So that's something that is different in the US, because they want you to feel like you're at home. They want you to feel connected.
Yeah, mental well-being.
Yeah. Then in terms of like standard of living, I would say if you don't know how to do pass yourself, you should be okay. Exactly. If you don't know how to do pass yourself, because there are some people that is the same, like people forget that life is in stages. It's the same that you came, you want to change your food, you want to change your system, you want to buy clothes, you want to buy shoes, you want to buy I'm like, it's not going to work.
It doesn't work.
Some things that I'm able to do now, I was unable to do that when I was a student, because now I'm earning more money. So in fact, sometimes you just be like, okay, I'm below this grade, like I'm below this type of things, because I've moved to another aspect of my life. But when you're looking at people and you're like, okay, because of the way this person is living their life, you don't know, maybe this person is getting sponsorship from home, and because of that, you want to live your life like that. It's not going to work. Exactly, it's not going to work that way. So I tell people, if you are self-sponsored, you know how much you have. Even if you are getting scholarship from the school, you know how much you are getting in scholarship. The money I got in scholarship that I'm getting per month is not the same money my friend is getting per month. So if she's living her life in a lavish way, I should not look at her, because there's a different package with her and her department, and there's a different package with myself and my department. So I think if you are okay, the standard of living is not anything crazy. And I know there are some people that do food pantry. I know in the institution that I was initially, that they used to do like all this food pantry. You can ask people like, okay, how are you people living your life? The lady, she used to open every Wednesday. People who go, international students was typically what she was, and she's She's not white, she's Mexican. She started it during COVID year because she said a lot of people were suffering from food, whatever, because COVID was very hard on people. So that's when she started the pantry. So she will open, she was giving out noodles, spaghetti, like all of these simple food that you could go and get. So people will go there, she gives chicken out and all. So that one was kind of like helping you to kind of like sustain. So you can ask for ways to help you minimize your cost of like living, your cost of like expenses and all. And I think something else that people don't realize is in school, there are also something that they call care packages. They will never tell you this because they don't want you to like
to come by rush.
But if you ever get stuck, but also you can't just say you want to just apply for a care package until you are stuck. So if you ever get stuck, you can talk to anybody and they will direct you to like the care packages where they can either give you money or maybe they can give you meal swipe to swipe into the dining. I have a friend that got meal swipe to swipe into the dining. So things like that. Then in terms of accommodation, for me, my funding came with accommodation. So like I didn't have to bother about accommodation. Yeah. So I didn't have to bother about accommodation.
Is that they gave you the money for the rent or they provided you
like I was staying in
an apartment?
Yeah, they provided me with an apartment in school. So like I was staying in school.
Wow.
I had like an apartment, like a old luxury apartment for myself.
So good.
And so like that was kind of like very helpful to me. And that's also another thing. You know, you don't have money, but you have standard in terms of what you want your apartment to look like. I'm like, hey, you know that even this standard, like even a normal typical 1-bedroom is not like the same in your country, because I've had people saying, oh, I get it, you don't want to share bathroom, but like do you have money for like the places where they don't share bathroom? You don't have. Exactly. So like just
manage for now.
That's what I tell people when they reach out to me. If you don't have money, collect the one with shared bathroom. In your second year, it's not like a do or die affair. In your second year, if you're able to save up, you can change your apartment at any point in time. But people just automatically want to live that luxury life that you did not live in Nigeria where you're coming from. Or because they don't know who is pressurizing you or who is interested in whatever you are doing. Because of that, you just automatically want to live a luxury life.
Yeah.
It depends on it depends on the location where your school is located. That's what will determine the kind of apartments you can get. But typically apartments ranges from like $300 per month to there's apartment of 1.8 per month. It depends on what you are looking for.
There's students, please.
There's an apartment of 2,000 per month. So it depends on what you are looking at overall. But my own is from Kati Gini, and for us to have it's not like I would. So for me, it's not like I would like go low on my like requirements, right? Because it's not like I'm going to like move into a room and share room with somebody. I'm not going to do that. Kind of like know that okay, you are new and you can be flexible with some things. But if it's like not negotiable for you, that is fine. But there are some things that are like I don't
want to. Wow, you should be able to like just and cook with. Yeah,
exactly. So
that's really good. So like on average, how much do you think one could spend on food?
Okay, so for me, when I was in school, I also had meal plan. I know that people will be like, did you even go to school? So like I had meal plan, and like my meal plan, I think I got like, is it 3,000 or thereabouts to like eat in school? So like most of the time I was always eating in school. I was buying my things from school. Like I even call my friends to come and eat in school because I was taking them out and all. So like on average, like I used to spend like $200 in a month to buy groceries because I would go and get chicken and all. But like even if you don't have meal plan as a student, I'm not sure there's a grocery that you should be spending more than $300 for. Now that I'm working is different because I'm like, okay, I'm working. I sometimes just want to treat yourself right. So the way I do my thing is like I budget. And I think that's very important because it's not just even about school. It's a good life skill for you to, budget and stick to your budget. So you could budget, $300 for food. Even $300 is too much. What are you buying?
It's too much. When it's not like you're eating out all the time.
It's not like that's the thing. Like I wasn't eating out. I don't even know how to eat. What food am I even eating? Is it the nonsense food that they are selling? But sometimes like I still budget for if I want to eat out. So kind of things. And once I meet that eating out requirement, I'm like, okay, you are done for the month. So if you're able to budget, you should be able. That's what I was telling my friend when she was coming. She was kind of like worried about stipend not being enough for her. She was getting 1,000. I was like, 1,000 is enough for you, girl. If you are not cutting if you are not doing more than what you can afford. So yeah, if you're able to like budget, $200 should be enough for you in grocery per month.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, over to the next questions. Okay, are there opportunities like I'm sure they have, but just shed more light on opportunities after study? Like, are you mandated to go back immediately?
No, you are not, but you're not. So after study, there's something that we call